beginning of last week. It's been widely regarded as the most important report ever so far from them, and yet it's had almost no coverage. So I've invited Charlie Gardner from XR Scientists to come and have a conversation about it. So welcome, Charlie. Thanks for coming. First question, super basic. What is the IPCC report?
So as you say, this is hugely important because it brings together all the science that's been produced over the last few years. So the United Nations have brought together this team of scientists, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and they've just summarised absolutely everything we know about the climate into these 3 reports. One was about just the climate science that came out a few months ago. This one is about how we can adapt to it. And in a few months, there'll be the final one, which is about what we can do to reduce it and stop it happening in the first place.
The purpose of this is to try and have a bit of a translation job, right? So I'm gonna run through some of the stuff that's in this, the summary for policymakers. The report itself is enormous, and then you have this much more concise summary, which is signed off by all the governments, right? So when we launched XR, we used to say the IPCC was kind of a space where you find science dancing with politics. Do you want to explain what the summary for policymakers is?
Yeah, so as you say, the reports themselves are absolutely huge, and of course media and governments don't have time to read that, so they produce this synthesized this short version. The problem is that while the main reports are agreed only by the scientists, the summary for policymakers are political documents. They're agreed by the negotiators of the countries that are party to the convention.
But the main takeaways for me from this report are things like it's happening now, it's worse than we thought. There's a big focus on loss and damage, which I think is really important, and that we're almost out of time. So I've never read anything so stark.
It does show just how much we know, just how much incredible science has been carried out, and how much information we have about what's coming. Yeah. So it's not that we're unprepared.
Yeah. I'm going to read out some statements as they appear in the report, and then you can tell me, what does it really mean? The rise in weather and climate extremes has led to some irreversible impacts as natural and human systems are pushed beyond their ability to adapt.
So what that means is we've already fucked our climate so badly that we're creating such extreme weather that some parts of the natural world just can't cope with it, and some parts of our own human systems can't cope with it. And some of the damage we've already done is going to be completely irreversible. We cannot undo it now.
It's a horrible start, isn't it? Okay, next one. Climate change has caused substantial damages and increasingly irreversible losses in terrestrial, freshwater and coastal and open ocean marine ecosystems. The extent and magnitude of climate change impact